Leaders in the Jubilee coalition have dismissed the polls, saying the coalition will in fact secure a first-round win.
Our commitment as the Jubilee coalition is to ensure that we have a smooth election, to ensure that we have a peaceful election.
Uhuru, who first took a shot at the presidency in 2002, will be hoping to be second-time lucky. Uhuru got the green light to seek the presidency just hours before his main challenger ODM's Raila Odinga too sought the IEBC clearance. Raila, accompanied by his running mate, Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka, went through the motions just like the candidates before them. Raila, whose party ODM is still smarting from a chaotic nomination exercise, has been rated by recent polls as the man to beat, with Ipsos Synovate and Infotrack polls placing him ahead of his competition.
Do hereby certify that Raila Odinga,
who vied for the presidency in 1997 and 2007, is hoping that his third shot at the presidency will hit the bullseye and land him a job at the House on the Hill.
We want to also urge all our supporters throughout the country to be peaceful during this campaign.
Also cleared to run for the presidency was former Kabete and now Kikuyu constituency Member of Parliament Paul Mwite of Safina Party. Not much has been seen or heard of Mwite's campaign for the presidency, but the lawyer, who served 3 terms in Parliament, and his running mate Shemo Chwodo have secured themselves a slot on the ballot paper. And he too will be seeking your votes come the 4th of March. Mohamed Abdu Badida, a teacher by profession, also has his sights set on becoming Kenya's 4th president.
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause.
The Alliance for Real Change presidential candidate and his running mate Joshua Onono were also cleared by the IEBC.
The press is here. Come and we give a statement.
But another late entrant into the race was not lucky. Chris Matata of the Party of Democratic Unity was locked out of the presidential race. He was time-barred after arriving at the KICC to present his papers after the 4 p.m. deadline. The IEBC is seeking commitment from the presidential candidates that they will abide by the Electoral Code of Conduct. The Commission has let off the hook former MPs Rachel Shebesh, Cecily Mbarire and Njoroge Faya, who stormed the Commission's offices over the TNA party primaries.
they have written apologies to the Commission.
With the IEBC green light to 8 candidates to battle it out for the top job on the land, the puzzle of the presidential ballot paper is now complete, and the country is set to witness intensified political activity in coming weeks as the campaigns enter the home stretch. Drita Tinina, KTN, Nairobi.
Now, after getting the electoral body stamp of approval to vie, 2 of the frontrunners in the presidential race hit the ground running. Raila and his core team were in Nairobi's Uhuru Park, while Uhuru and the Jubilee team toured the northern part of Nairobi. Our senior reporter Aaron Ochieng reports now on the presidential campaigns after the IEBC clearance.
Politicians are now shifting gears and tearing into each other as IEBC clears all presidential candidates to run in the 4th of March general election. After IEBC gave a go-ahead for Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga to vie for the presidency of the country, the 2 who were rated as front-runners in the presidential race hit the road with political rallies in different parts of the city. The Code Alliance pitched camp in Sogi Uhuru Park grounds, where the coalition leader Raila Odinga officially launched his presidential bid. Raila tore into the Jubilee coalition, saying they are misleading Kenyans by purporting to have the interests of the poor at heart.
Kuna Wakenya wengi hawana mahali ya kujenga nyumba, wengine wanapigana juu ya robo eka ya shamba. Wewe una maeka maalufu ni maalufu, toa hata lufu moja peke yake patia hawa.
A fiery Raila warned of dire consequences in the country if the Jubilee Alliance is to be given a chance to lead Kenya.
Ati sema na kutenda, sema na kutenda. Tunajua yale matendo. Jirani yako ana shamba, ametoka unaingia kwa shamba ya jirani yako na nyakua. Hiyo ni kutenda.
Na wauliza bado wenzangu wawe tayari kushindwa, kwa sababu wananchi wa Kenya wamekubali Kenya iwekwe mbele na wengine warudi nyuma.
Tayari tumeenda kwa kiwanja, refari amekagua timu, ameona viatu yetu ni sawasawa, ameona ngozi lenyewe ni sawasawa, alafu amepiga firimbi ya kuanzisha mpira.
The Jubilee Brigade took their vote hunting mission to northern Nairobi, with rallies in Githurai, Kahawa West and Zimmerman areas. The Uhuru-Ruto duo promised issuance of title deeds to those with genuinely acquired land and empower the youth with necessary skills to enable them be self-reliant.
Wananchi wa kawaida hapa Githurai ambaye hana title deed, hana logbook ya gari ya kwenda kuomba pesa kwenye bank, tutaweka hazina maalum, pesa ya serikali ambayo tutapatia kina mama na vijana.
Kwa sababu ukisikia mtu akitupa matusi kumaanisha hana lolote ambalo limebaki kwa.
The race for the presidency is now officially on, and with 8 contenders cleared to run, the campaigns are expected to intensify over the next few weeks. Aaron Ocheng, KTN.
All right, and that story is our lead to tonight's big question, and we are asking you, do you think the Cord and Jubilee campaigns are based on issues? The question again, do you think the Cord and Jubilee campaigns are based on issues?
Send your brief comments beginning with a yes or no to our SMS number 8040. Of course, we will be sampling some of your comments at the end of this live newscast. The die has been cast, barely 30 days to the election.
All right. Indeed, we shall. We're still on the campaign trail, and the Eagle Alliance is rooting for youthful leaders in the county leadership. The Alliance took its campaigns to Bomet County, where it toured Sotik, Mogogo Siek and Sigor areas, and thereafter held a rally at Bomet Stadium. The Alliance's presidential candidate Peter Kenneth and his running mate Ronnie Asumba drummed support for the team's gubernatorial candidate Dr. Julius Kenneth and said it was time for the youth to take over the leadership of the country. Kenneth promised to improve health facilities and establish a polytechnic in every county if elected president on March 4th.
Bwana asifiwe. Bwana asifiwe tena. Kuna furaha. Nakaribisha wageni.
They are telling you what the problem is, but they are not telling you what the solution is. Sasa mimi nikasema, mimi nina historia ya kufanya kazi. Muangalie. Ni lazima kuwe na historia ya kufanya nini? Kazi. Nyinyi ile ambayo mnahitaji zaidi ni kufanyiwa kazi.
Vijana, sisi tumeambiwa miaka mingi kwamba sisi ndio viongozi wa kesho. Ujumbe wangu ni mmoja tu, kwamba kesho ni leo. Na kesho imefika.
Peter vile tunamjua, constituency yake imekuwa number 1 kwa utumizi wa CDF. Kwa hii miaka 5 yote tumekuwa bungeni, yake imekuwa number 1. Nafikiri ni vizuri tumpatie nafasi ya kuendesha nchi hii.
Right, with the candidates now cleared by the IEBC, the next step for the electoral body is the printing of the ballot papers. But with the guidelines issued on the use of party symbols, voters may end up confused come March 4th, as the conventional rules of party symbols and candidates are set to be broken. Only the party symbol for the presidential aspirant will appear on the ballot paper in the cases where the flag bearer and running mate come from different parties. Sophia Wanuna looks at the presidential ballot paper that could leave Jubilee and Cord voters a little bit confused.
With the general election drawing closer, a potentially confusing situation portends for the supporters of the Jubilee and CORD coalitions. The two coalitions bring together presidential candidates and running mates from different parties. And with both the photographs of the presidential candidate and running mate set to be on the same ballot paper, only the party symbol of the flag bearer will appear on that ballot paper. This may confuse some of the voters because running mates may appear to belong to another party on the presidential ballot paper. In the case of the Jubilee coalition, whose presidential candidate is TNA's Uhuru Kenyatta and running mate is URP's William Ruto, only the TNA party symbol will be displayed alongside Uhuru and Ruto's pictures on the presidential ballot and not the URP party symbol or the Jubilee coalition symbol. And for the CORD coalition, whose presidential candidate is ODM's Raila Odinga and Wiper Party's Kalonzo Musyoka is running mate, only the ODM party symbol will appear alongside Raila and Kalonzo's pictures on the presidential ballot paper. The Wiper Democratic Movement and CORD symbol will not appear. In this scenario, Kalonzo and Ruto lose the identities of their parties on the presidential ballot paper, despite having rooted strongly for their party's individuality.
Ndugu wananchi, nipatieni Wiper! Wiper!
Tutahakikisha kwamba mali, maisha, biashara, watoto ya kila Mkenya iko salama.
The Amani and Eagle Coalition's presidential aspirants come from the same parties as their running mates, and the confusion that would likely occur for some voters in the case of the Jubilee and CORD coalitions does not apply. Sophia Wanuna, KTN.
Elsewhere, the High Court has stopped the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission from receiving nomination papers of 10 candidates until petitions against them are heard and determined. The three-judge bench issued the orders which affect candidates against whom petitions were filed at the High Court after some aspirants disagreed with verdicts issued by the IEBC Disputes Tribunal. Those who will now have to wait for the High Court to rule include Transport Minister Amos Kimunya, who is the TNA aspirant in Kipiriri, Nicholas Gumbo, the ODM aspirant in Rarieda, and Odhaya's Mugambi Gishuki, who is alleged to have defected to Sabasaba Asili after the deadline. Other areas affected include Kuria East, Garissa County, Lurambi, and the rest. The UDF candidate in Alego Usonga, the ODM candidate in Nyatike, and the ODM Senate candidate in Nyamira. Over to you, Linda.
And Eric, many thanks. Now, a pupil in Trans Nzoia County has committed suicide after receiving his KCPE results released on Monday. Kelvin Gituhi from Sinoko Primary School in Trans Nzoia East District scored 229 marks and is reported to have hanged himself after confirming the results from the Kenya National Examination Council through an SMS. The 17-year-old pupil was making a second attempt after scoring 187 marks 2 years ago. He had reportedly gone back to class 7 and was expecting a better result. Thousands of children are said to miss Form 1 places owing to limited vacancies in the country's secondary schools. The government has warned parents and school heads against forcing children to repeat classes due to poor results. Eric?
All right, now we'll head to the changes in the police force and the two faces of the police, that's spokesman Eric Keraithe and his deputy Charles Owino, have been redeployed in the latest reshuffle in the service announced by the National Police Service Commission. Keraithe now moves to the Kenya Airports Authority as a general manager in charge of security, while Owino, there you are, their photos, becomes the Director of Internal Affairs at the police force. These changes are amongst many other appointments announced by the Commission today. The National Police Service Commission has also appointed an instructor at the Kenya Police College. His name is Anthony Munga, to be the new police spokesman replacing Keraithe. A provincial traffic officer and former head of the Kenya Railways Police Department, Mary Omari, becomes the new deputy police spokeswoman replacing Charles Owino in that rank. Both Mary and Munga will be in office in an acting capacity. In other changes, the Police Commission has abolished 5 ranks in the police service and merged them under a new one, that of Assistant Inspector General of Police, Senior Deputy Commissioner of Police 1, Senior Deputy Commissioner of Police 2, Deputy Commissioner of Police 1, Senior Assistant Commissioner of Police, and Assistant Commissioner of Police have all been changed. Officers in those defunct ranks now serve as Assistant Inspector General of Police. Now, after the Phillips-Ransley report made its recommendations, Parliament reduced the ranks of the police service from 16 to 11. And now the Commission has settled on 12 ranks, starting with Inspector General of Police, 2 Deputy Inspector Generals, Assistant Inspector General, Senior Superintendent, Superintendent, Assistant Superintendent, Chief Inspector, Inspector, Senior Sergeant, Sergeant, Corporal, and finally Constable. The chairman of the commission, Johnston Kavuludi, has announced that there would be county commanders who would be deputized by 2 officers, one in charge of the county Kenya Police Service and the other in charge of the County Administration Police Service ahead of the polls. Remember, the reshuffle comes after President Kibaki and Prime Minister Raila Odinga disagreed on the recent appointments in the police service on basis of merit, with Raila claiming he was not consulted. Over to you, Linda.
Eric.
We'd like to take this opportunity to commend the appointment of the Inspector General and the gazettement of the 2 Deputy Inspectors General and the Director of Criminal Investigations, thereby completing the command of the police service. The Commission appeals to the 2 principals to resolve the current impasse, to facilitate the swearing in of the 2 Deputy Inspectors General and the Director Criminal Investigations.
I'm sorry for that. We had to hear Kavuludi first before we take you now to Linda. Over to you.
Eric, many thanks. You're watching KTN Prime. Many thanks for staying with us. Now, we need to let you know that we will be speaking to William Samoei Ruto, the man who hopes to be the Deputy President come March 4th, 2013, on a Jubilee ticket later on in this bulletin. We are hoping he can let his guards down and answer all the questions that you possibly have for him. But let's focus our attention on a different kind of race and a section of city residents and analysts we spoke to prior to the debate that aired on KTN earlier tonight, hosted by Louis, are of the opinion that the first governor of Nairobi should have unrivaled leadership and managerial skills that would give the city a competitive edge as a leading economic hub in the region. And as Patrick Amimo reports, job creation, infrastructure, development, waste disposal and security are ranked as key priority areas of focus for the incoming governor.
Kenya's capital is the most populous city in the East African region, with an estimated population of 3.5 million inhabitants, representing almost 10% of the Kenyan population. Nairobi is home to major international and local companies, UNEP, diplomatic missions, and Africa's 4th largest stocks exchange in terms of trading volume. The city also boasts of an international airport, a modern superhighway, and bypasses. However, traffic congestion remains a thorn in the flesh. Residents will be keen to know how the governor will address the traffic problem.
Here we're looking at efficient public transport so that we don't actually waste half Nairobi's income on the roads. The governor must be very clear that an investor from outside would actually find it easy, like Kigali, to be able to set up his business in a day and get all licenses that he actually needs. Nairobi must be packaged as an investment destination.
The race for Nairobi governorship has attracted 4 contestants. These include former Mumias Sugar Company Chief Executive Evans Kidero on an ODM ticket, immediate former Nairobi Town Clerk Philip Kisia on the Federal Party of Kenya ticket, outgoing Embakasi MP and Water Assistant Minister Ferdinand Waititu on TNA ticket, and business magnate Jim Nambaru on the APK ticket. And as Kenyans head to the March 4th polls, just what kind of leadership qualities are Nairobians looking for their governor for the county?
He should be somebody who can run Kenya. Why? And I'm saying that because Nairobi contributes almost 60% of the GDP. So we're going to entrust this man to run 60% of Kenya's GDP.
We need a manager, is not a politician.
Slums accommodate almost 60% of residents in the city. Here, provision of clean water and sanitation is a challenge. The city also generates about 800 tons of garbage daily, with only one dump site in Dandora, which is poorly managed. Hawking is another issue where majority of the unemployed and underemployed eke a living, often battling with council askaris whenever they sneak into the central business district. What are some of the key priority issues on the governor's in-tray?
Security is a big issue here.
If we get a governor who will create jobs for these young people, actually it will have conquered the insecurity in Nairobi.
We need a governor who will create jobs.
Ile West, kama kuna jamaa ambaye amefanya research, anaweza tumia ubongo lake na tujue eti kwa production ya energy, ile Dandora dumping site, how many megawatts can it produce? It is not about that you come from this tribe that you have got the numbers.
Those are the people's agenda for those aspiring to be governors in the city. A tall order indeed. Patrick Amimo, KTN.
Very interesting expectations there. Of course, remember, later on in this bulletin, we will be speaking to William Ruto, the man who hopes to become Kenya's deputy president under the new constitution. And of course, with all those expectations from the people, we will be putting questions across to William Ruto on what exactly he has to offer, if indeed he ends up becoming the deputy president of the republic.
You do not want to miss that. Let's move on now. And the Israel ambassador to Kenya, Gail Haskell, has expressed confidence in the electoral process in the country ahead of the March 4th general elections.
Speaking at the Standard Group Center, the ambassador said Israel is impressed with the preparation so far and will support all efforts geared towards ensuring a free, fair and peaceful election.
In the same breath, founding president of the Republic of Seychelles, Sir James Manchem, has urged Kenyans to keep peace and look towards the future and not hold grudges from the past.
Kenya being a very close and dear friend of Israel, I always say that anything that was developed in Israel through the R&D to the benefit of Kenya and at the disposal of the Kenyan people and the Kenyan government. You just need to reach out your hand and take it. We will find the methods of how to bring each and every fruit of our research and development to the well-being of this country.
The major problem is economy, employment, trying to generate that sort of amount of industry and development to keep people meaningfully employed. We are not going to put salt in all wounds. What have gone sadly, but we must look towards the future.
We like conversations about peace, especially at this time. We as Standard Group are going to be running our own peace messages starting from the 4th of February all the way through the month of campaign up to the election day, calling on our fellow citizens not to make the mistakes and repeat the problems that we had in 2007, 2008.
All right, before we take you to our first break, let's remind you the big question tonight, and we are asking you, do you think the CORD and Jubilee campaigns are based on issues? Do you think the CORD and Jubilee campaigns are based on issues?
Let us know what you think. Send your brief comment beginning with a yes or no to our SMS number. That would be 8040. We will sample your opinions at the tail end of this newscast.
You are indeed watching KTN Prime, and just ahead.
January inflation rates expected. Which way will they go? Stay with us to find out.
Dealer General Motors East Africa has invested 100 million shillings to upgrade its Nairobi assembly plant amid rising demand for its vehicles. Speaking at a tour of the plant, General Motors Managing Director Rita Kavashe said the upgrade has increased efficiency and capacity at the plant, where it assembles the Isuzu brand of buses, pickups and trucks. General Motors assembly plant produces the largest number of vehicles in the country ahead of the Thika-based Kenya vehicle manufacturers as KVM and Mombasa-based Associated Vehicle Assemblers. The company sold 3,421 units.
It is the ceremony we have here today to officially launch this upgraded assembly plant.
This unit brings together operation across the region to enable us to take advantage of the synergies that we have in our region and putting General Motors in a stronger position to grow its business in Africa.
All right, Apple unveiled a 128 gigabyte version of its 4th generation iPad tablet, doubling the storage capacity of current models. The newest version of Apple's popular mobile device will be available from February 4th. Apple is seeking more corporate iPad users, noting in a statement Tuesday that companies often use large amounts of data. Here's the report.
It looks the same and has the same processor as the last iPad that rolled out in October. But a new iPad announced by Apple Tuesday gives users a lot more space. The latest addition to the tech giant's tablet line doubles the maximum amount of storage from 64 to 128 gigabytes. The new model is aimed at those who need that extra storage space, targeting corporate professionals who need to carry large files and large amounts of data. In its release, Apple pointed to architects and medical professionals as examples. It's also appealing to casual users like gamers and movie fans who want more room for videos on the go. The price tag, $799 for the Wi-Fi version, $929 for the model with Wi-Fi and cellular. The news comes as Apple feels some bruising on Wall Street. Their latest quarterly earnings were flat over the previous year, despite a record quarter with a profit of $13.1 billion, boosted by record sales of the iPhone and iPad. Most analysts are looking for innovation beyond Apple's core products. The new iPad will be available on Tuesday, February 5th, in black or white. I'm Karen Kefa reporting.
Black or white, you choose. We're still on technology. Facebook will release its highly anticipated 4th quarter earnings report later today. After the close of the trading on Wall Street, Facebook is expected to point to more traction in its mobile ad business. Investors are banking on this, with the company's stock up more than 15% since the year began and up about 40% over the last 3 months. But the stock is still down about 19% from its IPO price of $38 in October. Facebook revealed that 14% of its 3rd quarter ad revenue, about $152 million, came from mobile. Facebook shares have stabilized after a disappointing initial public offering last May and several rocky months that followed. Let's now take a look at the numbers in our financial markets review.
KTN Business Today was brought to you by Nivea for Men Maximum Hydration Body Lotion. Get 24-hour plus defense against dry skin. Nivea for Men, what men want.
Rama, my dear, this year the prayer meeting will be in the garden.
But Rekha, every year we conduct it on the terrace, then...
I know, Rama, my dear. But then I thought that Mother and Dad would find it difficult getting to the terrace.
Uma? We gotta leave for home immediately after the prayer meeting.
We just thought that Uma could stay back over here a few days. She's come after so long, and we haven't spent any time together.
Nothing rewards like a Guinness. Guinness, reach for greatness.
Well, and after the Vasco da Gamas of the days, singing for all those people, welcome now to KTN Sports. Today, I am Nicholas Mudimba. We begin with volleyball. South African feminine volleyball defending champions Kenya Prisons has for the past 3 weeks been shaping up for what turns out to be a basic calendar. Over and above that, the Kenya Volleyball League, which starts in March, they have Africa Club Championships to take care of in April. The team has signed 6 new players to bolster the squad.
Kenya Volleyball defending champions Kenya Prisons have a tough call defending the title, with all eyes on them to falter. And it is for this reason that despite the Continental Championships being 3 months away, the Ward Racers have embarked on rigorous physical training ahead of the Africa Club Championships. The team is also preparing for the FIVB World Club Championships to be held in May, and Coach David Lungaho seems to welcome the early timings of the events.
The two championships are following one another back to back, so we have to train hard so that if you qualify for the World Championship, the training that we had from January will be quite enough to take us to the World Cups.
During the December transfer window, the team signed 6 new players, 3 of them from Lugulu Girls Secondary, 2 from Weaverbird Academy in Kitale, and 1 from Presbyterian University. Coach Lungaho wanted to bolster his central line that has been wanting before heading to Madagascar for the championships from the 2nd of April to the 15th.
The girls, those seniors who have experienced more than us, they're really helping us. They're good, they're friendly.
16 teams from Africa will take part in the event, with Kenya being represented by 2, the other being Kenya Pipeline.
Haya ni mashindano magumu, na kwamba sisi ndio mabingwa watetezi, inakuwa ni kazi ngumu hata zaidi kuweza kulitetea kombe hilo.
Kenya Prisons won the title after beating Kenya Pipeline Nairobi last year. Victor Ogale, KTN Sports.
Tomorrow's soccer now. The Tusker Premier League transfer window closes at midnight tomorrow. But with the day to go, it's openly Thika United which has presented its full list of players it acquired during the transfer period, which opened on December 1st last year. The club, known for nurturing young talent, has done exactly that this year. It signed 6 players from the lower leagues and 2 from Premier League clubs. Ezekiel Odera, who last season wore KCPE colours, has been attracted by the Brookside Milk in Thika. The club acquired Shami Mwinyi from Mnarani United at the coast, Anthony Gicho from Ofufa Jericho, Levi Sopio from Tetu, and Charles Bruno from Malindi Academy. Sami Meja, former of Kakamega, and the 8th player acquired by the Thika-based side. Thika United finished 6th last season.